the Americano. An Americano is a shot of espresso, usually a double shot, with hot water. When taking the order, remember to ask the guest if they would like hot milk, cold milk, or no milk. Let's look at the 4 simple steps for the Americano. Begin by filling the mug 2/3 full with hot water. Then, run the single or double shot of espresso into the mug with the hot water in it. Then, top up with hot water if needed. Running the shot after filling with hot water always allows the crema to stay intact. This is why we add the hot water first and then pull the espresso. Finally, serve in a mug on a saucer with a spoon. The cappuccino. A cappuccino consists of a shot of espresso with equal amounts of textured milk and foam. A cappuccino has a stronger coffee taste than a latte because of the equal portions of milk and foam. So, it is espresso plus steamed milk plus foam. This represents equal amounts of milk and foam, which is dependent on the cup size. The amount of espresso is determined by the guest's choice. Would they like a single or a double shot? Once you know this guest's preference, you are ready to add the steamed milk and the foam in equal proportions to best suit the cup size. Begin by pulling a single or double shot of espresso into the cup, depending on the guest's preference. Step 2. Heat and texture the milk. Step 3. Split the frothed milk between 2 pitchers. Step 4. Now, pour equal amounts of the steamed milk and then the foam into the espresso. Step 5. Finally, serve on a saucer with a spoon. Let's have a look at the flat white. A flat white is often confused with a cappuccino. This is because they are very similar in the way in which they are made. However, a flat white is espresso plus steamed milk or foam, while a cappuccino is an espresso plus steamed milk and foam. In comparison to the cappuccino, the flat white has more milk and less foam, and the milk is always micro-textured. Let's look at the 5 steps for making a delicious flat white. Step 1. Begin by pulling a single or double shot of espresso into the cup. Step 2. Heat and texture the milk, frothing the milk, creating as few big bubbles as possible. Step 3. Swirl the milk to blend the steamed milk and foam thoroughly, making a delicious micro-foam. Step 4. Pour the micro-foam into the espresso. Step 5. Serve on a saucer with a spoon. The latte. A latte does not have as strong a coffee taste as a cappuccino because it has more milk and less foam. A latte consists of a shot of espresso filled with steamed milk and topped off with a small amount of foamed milk. If we look at the ratio, we have 1/4 espresso, 2/4 steamed milk, and 1/4 foam. Let's look at the 6 simple steps for making a latte. Step 1. Run a single or double shot of espresso into a mug. the guest will have chosen whether they would like a single or double shot. Step 2. Heat and texture the milk, frothing it beautifully. Step 3. Allow the steamed milk and foam to slightly separate. Step 4. Pour the steamed milk into the espresso, controlling the flow of the foam. Step 5. Pour a small amount of foam on top of the drink. Step 6. Finally, serve the mug on a saucer with a spoon. The macchiato. A macchiato is an espresso with a small amount of foam. Simply, it is espresso plus foam. Let's look at the 4 steps for making a macchiato. Step 1. Run a single shot of espresso into an espresso cup. Or, if the guest has requested a double shot, run a double shot of espresso into a cappuccino cup. Step 2. Heat and texture the milk, frothing it beautifully. Step 3. Carefully spoon a small amount of foam onto the espresso to mark or stain the espresso with the foam. Finally, step 4. Serve on a saucer with a spoon. The mocha. A mocha is an espresso with added chocolate powder, hot water, steamed milk, and foam. So, it's espresso plus chocolate powder plus hot water plus steamed milk plus foam. Please note that the hot chocolate that you use is very, very dependent and specific to your establishment, as is the amount of chocolate powder used. You need to make sure that you have a very specific recipe at your establishment. There are 7 steps for making a mocha. Step 1. Put the required amount of hot chocolate powder into a mug. Step 2. Add the correct amount of hot water to the chocolate powder and stir, creating a paste. Step 3. Run a single shot or a double shot of espresso onto the chocolate powder. Step 4. Heat and texture the milk, frothing it beautifully. Now, step 5. Split the milk between 2 pitchers. Step 6. Pour the frothed milk and foam into the espresso and the chocolate powder mix. Finally, serve in a mug on a saucer with a spoon. The Bambino Chino. Before ending our range of delicious coffee recipes, let's have a look at one last little treat. It's very common for a guest to arrive at your establishment with a child or a youngster, and it's such a nice touch to be able to make them feel welcome and to occupy their inquisitive minds, as well as helping to comfort the parent who is accompanying them. The way that we can do this is by offering a Bambino Chino. Bambino is the Italian word for baby, so a Bambino Chino is a fantastic recommendation for children or younger guests. This needs to be fun and interesting, and ideally not charged for, but is rather a kind gesture that we should give towards our guests and the parents of youngsters at our establishment. Let's have a look at how we can make one of these delights. A Bambino Chino is chocolate plus steamed milk plus foam. Please note that the hot chocolate used is very dependent upon what you use at your establishment, as is the volume of powder or chocolate chips used in that recipe. Take the recipe listed below and apply it to the way that you make hot chocolate at your establishment. The steps for the Bambinoccino are as follows. Step 1. Place the required amount of hot chocolate powder or chocolate chips into an espresso cup. Secondly, heat and texture the milk, frothing it. Thirdly, split the milk between 2 pitchers. Step 4. Pour the frothed milk and foam into the espresso cups or over the chocolate chips or powder. Step 5. Stir the chocolate into the milk froth. Step 6. Add some cold milk. Step 7. Top with spoonfuls of foam. Step 8. Garnish with a slice of marshmallow or some chocolate sprinkles. Finally, step 9. Serve in an espresso cup on a saucer with a demi-tasse spoon and present the Bambinoccino to your young guest. Frappuccino or Frizzocino. The Frappuccino, or commonly known as the Frizzocino, is a frozen coffee drink that many guests may enjoy in the hotter months. Some establishments will use a sweetened powder for this, and others may use proper espresso. A Frizzocino or Frappuccino consists of espresso plus sugar plus milk plus crushed ice plus ice cream. Let's have a look at the steps for making a Frappuccino or Frizzocino. Step 1. Get a Pilsner glass or a highball glass and ensure that it is spotlessly clean and polished. Step 2. Pull a double espresso shot into a cup and add 1 teaspoon of sugar and leave it to cool. Step 3. Crush 1½ cups of ice. Step 4. Add 3/4 of a cup of cold milk of your guest's choice to the crushed ice in the blender. Step 5. Now, pour the sugared double espresso over the ice and the milk. Step 6. Add 1 scoop of vanilla ice cream. Step 7. Blend all of these ingredients together and pour into your beautifully polished glass. Step 8. Serve with a straw and a long-handled teaspoon and a saucer. Well done. Iced coffee. Iced coffee is a sugared, milky coffee with ice cubes in it. An iced coffee consists of ice cubes, espresso, sugar, and milk. Let's have a look at the steps for making an iced coffee. Step 1. Get a Pilsner glass or a highball glass and ensure that it is spotlessly clean and polished. Step 2. Pull a double espresso shot into a coffee cup and add 2 teaspoons of sugar. Stir it well and then leave to cool. Step 3. Fill the Pilsner glass or highball glass 3/4 full with ice cubes. Step 4. Now, pour the sugared double espresso and 3/4 of a cup of cold milk of your guest's choice on top of the ice cubes. Step 5. Garnish as desired and serve on a saucer with a hot chocolate is always a favorite, especially when there are children around. The product used to make hot chocolate is very dependent upon what you use at your establishment. Some use chocolate powder and others use chocolate chips. Some establishments even use a chocolate syrup. But generally the procedure is the same and the ingredients are relatively standard. Chocolate plus steamed milk plus foam equals hot chocolate. Let's have a look at how to make delicious hot chocolate. Step 1. Take your latte or hot chocolate glass and ensure that it is spotlessly clean and polished. Step 2. Spoon the required amount of hot chocolate powder, chocolate chips, or chocolate syrup into your long glass or mug. Step 3. Add 20 milliliters of hot water and mix the hot chocolate and water until a chocolate paste is made. If you are using chocolate syrup, use 30 milliliters of chocolate syrup. Step 4. Heat and texture the milk, frothing the milk. Step 5. Allow the steamed milk and foam to slightly separate. Step 6. Pour the steamed milk onto the hot chocolate paste, controlling the flow of the foam. Step 7. Stir the hot chocolate into the heated milk until it is all mixed in. Finally, Step 8. Top with foam and serve on a saucer with a long-handled teaspoon. Horlicks. Horlicks is a hot drink, often enjoyed in the cold winter months. It is a combination of wheat, malted barley, and milk that finishes with a very malty and cereal-like taste. Horlicks not only has a unique taste, but it also has an abundance of essential vitamins and minerals. This is one hot drink that is tasty and nutritional. Horlicks consists of Horlicks powder, hot water, steamed milk, and foam. Let's have a look at the 8 steps for making the perfect mug of Horlicks. Step 1. Take your mug that is used to serve hot chocolate, lattes, and other large hot drinks. Ensure that it is spotlessly clean and polished. Step 2. Spoon 4 teaspoons of Horlicks powder into your mug. Step 3. Add 50 milliliters of water and mix the Horlicks and water into a smooth paste. Step 4. Heat and texture the milk, frothing it. Step 5. Allow the steamed milk and foam to slightly separate. Step 6. Pour the steamed milk onto the Horlicks paste, controlling the flow of the foam. Step 7. Stir the paste into the heated milk until all the paste is mixed in. Step 8. Top with foam and serve on a saucer with a long-handled teaspoon.